Good Monday morning, everyone. Oh my gosh, we are almost through August. I can't believe it. My kids have started school. All the college kids are back in town, but we're going to dive all into that. So, you guys listening to Author Talk with me, Amy, Russell, Valerie, and our lovely author guest today is AD Solomon or Aaron. So, you guys, I'm excited that my kids went back to school on Wednesday of last week. It's been fantastic. This is their first full week. Okay, their teachers are great. Meadow didn't have a meltdown on the first day of school, so we're doing real good. The bottom side is the freaking college kids are back in my town, you guys. And last week was Howdy Week. They start classes today. And this is a quite nice, I'm not even going to say nice, but it is a tolerable town when the college kids are not in town. So holidays and summer, it's rather enjoyable because you don't have long lines. You can go out and eat. It's really fantastic. When they are here in town, we are just prisoners in our house because we just don't want to go out with all of them. So it's been a crazy, crazy time. On top of that, you guys, my weekend, let's just dive into it. Russell, I got something cool to tell you about Josh I think you're really going to like. So this past weekend, we went to Austin because Josh's cousin is moving to Canada and they were doing a going away party for her. So we did the drive down to Austin and then came back. But on Sunday, Josh actually left. And so my daughter's birthday, my youngest daughter's birthday is on Tuesday, but Josh actually won't be here for it because Josh is currently in Florida at the SpaceX Center or whatever in Florida, going to watch like this launch and all kinds of stuff. So he's doing some pretty cool stuff. And so I will have pictures to post in the group when he sends them to me. But that's currently where he is. So I'm just trying to survive single parenting my children and getting up early in the morning because that is just not my thing. 6:30 comes early. You guys, it's a struggle in my household. But what all did you guys do this weekend? I hope it was more eventful and less chaotic than mine. So what all did you do? Who wants to go first? Russell, you always have some vibrant stories.
So I went to Atlanta for the weekend to party.
Nice.
And, I'm not going to pretend like it was anything but just my wife and I went to party. We have friends over there. They like to party a lot harder than we do. We fade way before they do, which is okay. They don't care. They just keep going. So that's good. Mm-hmm. So we flew in Saturday and we went to House Steakhouse. House Steakhouse is a version of an old school Southern steakhouse, about 50%, and about 50% of Manhattan Greenwich Village Steakhouse, which means it's awesome. And they still allow cigars in the bars still.
That's why it's awesome. We figured it out. Now we know.
It was a great night. We were there way too long, spent way too much money, spent Sunday on a rooftop pool. We went, and I know you're gonna like this. My wife made me go. I'm so embarrassed. I really wasn't going to tell you this. We went to this Harry Potter movie where it's in a dome.
Heck yeah.
And so you're like in the middle of the movie on Monday. And it was spectacular. You need to go to that. They have one in Dallas. You need to take your kids and go, Amy.
The immersive one? I went to the one when it was in Houston and they had the live like symphony play the music while you watch
this is movie. Different. This is different. And you can't imagine how it's different till you see it. I'm just saying you should go.
I love that you went and Melinda talked you into it. I love
it. She didn't really ask.
Even better.
It was kind of the price of going to Atlanta.
I love it. I love that you miss Atlanta, but I'm happy that you're back in Houston. You're closer to me.
I know. As soon as I got back, we're babysitting my 3 granddaughters for 3 days. And I can tell you, I'm glad school started because it's someplace to dump them in the morning.
I mean, that is a true statement.
That's all I care about. When can I get these kids to the bus?
I get it. Aaron, Valerie, what did you guys do this weekend?
Oh, I have a quick question. So, Russell, how old are the kids now, the grandkids?
Twin 4-year-olds. They're about to turn 5. And they're like a cartoon. They're so devilish. It's
Yeah,
awful.
I
They're
love it.
I love
genetic twins. And then the 9-year-old is like a grown up already. I mean, she's responsible. She does what she's supposed to do. And especially compared to her little sister, she's like perfect.
She's the oldest. And they
Yeah.
Yes.
tend to be more obedient until you hit high school, and then they're not obedient anymore.
But no one will
What?
notice if she's disobedient because her little sisters like will just go through and ravage the world.
I know. My youngest is feral. She has a shirt that says cute but feral with a raccoon on it because it is her spirit animal. I'm telling you, it is. I get it. I understand. So,
Aaron, go ahead. You go first.
Yeah, sure. My weekend, we just actually got back from Tampa, Florida, where we used to live. So we lived there. Me and my wife lived there for 15 years, and we just drove back. And I'm not entirely sure that the traffic on 75 wasn't because of Russell's night out. But there's quite a bit of traffic going through Atlanta. But no, it was a good weekend. Got to visit some friends, and so that was our weekend.
nice. Where are you located now?
So we're in a small town near Knoxville, Tennessee.
Which
Oh,
is magic. I've driven through there several times while I lived in
It is.
Georgia. And I got to tell you that Amy will never see that because Amy
No.
rarely leaves the state of Texas.
hey, I
But
went to
it is
Sedona.
so beautiful. It is so beautiful there. It's like magic country.
Yeah, the Sheer Hollow Skyway is about 30 minutes away from where I live.
Yeah.
The Blue Ridge Mountains up in Georgia, then you go over and go to Smokies. I mean, everything is right there. And like 4 states, like right there
I've
together.
spent a
So you
lot
can
of
finish
time in
everywhere.
those mountains.
Yep. Yeah. It is a fantastic place. And I ride motorcycles. So for me, this is like heaven for motorcycle
And what
riding.
type of motorcycles do you ride?
Well, currently I have a BMW 1300 GSA. That's my current motorcycle. But my
What
prior
year?
ones were, it's a 25.
That's sweet. What you
Yeah.
buy such a new one for, though?
Well, my old one was a 2017
Okay, you still buy
1200
new ones.
1200
I'm
GS.
sorry, we
Yeah,
should not be talking motorcycles so much. It's not
we
why
could talk
people
about that for a
watch the
while. Yeah,
show, but I couldn't help myself.
that's okay.
I
That's
love it.
okay.
Hey, Russell, I may be in Tennessee next Thanksgiving. My family wants to do Thanksgiving together somewhere different, and they picked Tennessee. So I will
I
eventually
think
get
you
there.
should do it next, not
Yeah.
this Thanksgiving, but the next one. I'll be in Egypt for a month.
I know.
Oh
I'm
my
so
God.
excited for your Egypt trip. I'm excited to hear
That's
all
gonna be
about that.
amazing.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna make Josh. So Josh went to Tennessee, Russell. He started the Appalachian
You know,
Trail.
Josh will go anywhere.
Yeah, he didn't make it very, very far, Aaron, but
No,
he
it's not very
did it for
clean.
3 days. He did it for 3 days. He just didn't the wild dogs really got him. He didn't like being chased by them. So that was a whole thing. But yeah, I know. It's just like he survived it. It's fine. Valerie, what did you do?
Well, I kicked off my weekend with a school appearance, excuse me, at with 3 and 4-year-old in Rice Village here in Houston. So it was great. The teacher brought donuts, and we read we read Rainforest and then the Donut Tree. So that was great. And they have a lot of questions when they're 3 and 4 years old. So, and they're really important. But it's a great back to school thing to do an author appearance at schools. And then we also had a party because I don't know if you know, but 3 out of my 4 kids have birthdays in August. So they decided to have a Leo season party.
Oh,
And
okay.
it was, they rented a place over by the Heights and just the whole shebang. They all invited their friends, each of them, and we had fajitas and all this. But the best thing was we had a close-up magician come. So that was a lot of fun.
Cool.
And it just had holding everybody's attention we're like, no way. But he's right there and you're doing it and you're like, no. But it's always
Nice.
good. Because when they were little, we had a magician come to our house because my first 2 kids are 10 days for 10 days are the same age. But that guy had fire in our house. And so this one was a lot more tame. which
You didn't
it
want
was for
the
adults.
fire? I would have picked
Yeah, we
fire.
didn't know he was gonna do fire in our house because we thought he had little animals like a bunny and this and that. But like, and by the way, I have this. He's like, we're like, oh my gosh, it's a good thing we had high ceilings.
Wow. And just to spend a weekend at your house, Valerie, or like where you're going to the events you go to, I feel like would be great. I love it.
It's all good. It's all good. But we know we're just having a good time doing birthdays and parties and
Yep,
parties.
I know. I'm fixing to wind down my birthday season. The 29th is Sky's birthday party, and then I will be done until June. So I'm fixing to wind it down. Russell, it's your moment to shine.
Okay. Aaron, we always like to thank the people that listen to us. Most people don't watch us on Monday when we record this. They watch us during the week, or they listen to us during the week on podcast, driving to work or working out. In fact, the reason we're 45 minutes long is that's the average workout. So that's why we do it that long. And we've been doing it for 10 years. We're top 1% on Good Pods, top 10% on some of the other channels. And we really want to thank our listeners. We're very honored. Being a typical boomer, I could never find us on the podcast channels when we first started until Amy and Dee changed everything. Amy, how do people find us?
We did. Well, how can Russell find us? So you can literally look at anywhere you can search for a podcast. So I go to Amazon Music or Spotify. I'm an Android user, so Google Play. You can do iTunes. You can go, if you want to listen to us, it'll pop up. So you can just type in Author Talk, look for the crimson, red, and gold logo. That's us. If you want to watch us and have a good time with us and engage with us, you can go to our YouTube channel, our Facebook group, any one of our social media channels, and you can see Russell's favorite part, which is how we started to where we currently are today. So you can go and have a good laugh with and at us if you want to go out and go over there. But talking about good times, laughing, the 10 years that we have done this, Valerie, let's get Aaron talking about his book and let's learn about a new book that is out.
So Aaron, I wanted to just we always like to get to know our authors, and since you're new on the show, you haven't always been an author. Can you tell us a little bit about your past and how you came to be an author?
Sure. So we'll take up the entire 45 minutes. So I'm going to try to compress this a bit. So I've lived a very full life already. I started in the military, did 8.5 years in the Air Force. And then I moved over I lived in DC for a little bit, worked for a 3-letter agency there. And then I moved down to Tampa and I worked at Special Operations Command for 15 years. And after all of that time, it was time for me to somewhat retire and then move on to other things. Throughout that time, I've ghostwritten many books. I've not really full books, but more so like difficult chapters for some people. I have a master's in forensic science and I have a PhD in forensic psychology. So a lot of my friends who have written either crime books or something will ask me for advice on those things to make sure some of the forensics or some of the timing makes sense for lab reports and stuff like that, crime scenes, setups. And then moving on to myself, COVID hit. And then I decided, well, I'm stuck at home. Shit, might as well start writing. So I've always wanted to write like an epic fantasy. And I have 2 epic fantasies in my mind at the time. And the first one I chose had a little modernity to it. So it starts on Earth and kind of the modern age where there's cell phones and satellites and stuff. And then it moves into a new world, which is what this series is right now, the Lex Anders Saga. So the first book, Twin Moons of Eldradune. I currently have 6 books published on Amazon right now. And the other 4 in the series, they're already written, already edited, ready for release. So it's actually a 10-book series. And the way I write my books is they're very wordy. So all 10 books, I think, is like 1.7 million words. So it's a lengthy series. The first 3 books are actually supposed to be one book. So each book is between, I think the first book is 512 pages. It goes like 480 and then another 500. So I couldn't do a 1,500 page book. So I released them all at the same time, 1 through 3. And so it's actually meant to be read together because the first book is very exposition heavy. So if you stick with the first book and you can get into the second and third book, then you should be okay with finishing the series. Then I do something very different as well with the series. So book 4, same characters, but I do half the book is back in the past, then half the book is with the present characters. Book 5 is entirely in the past. Then book 6 ties it all together for the ending of that first segment of the series. So it's a different way that I've written it, even with some of the timing and stuff, because the past lore actually applies to the present stuff that's going on in the world of Eldradune. So.
All I can say is, wow, that takes a lot of outlining and planning and just character development and story structure and, scaffolding on your part. What was your approach to, when you were just writing, just like, these characters are so fantastic. I can't stop myself from writing about them, and the story is amazing, and it's going to keep going and going. What did you plan on that, or did you just say, like, I have so much to say with this story, and it just, as an author, it just kind of flows out of you? Did you feel that?
It does. So I knew the structure of where it was going for at least the first 3 books right away. I did not know where it was going after that. But I did whiteboard the shit out of it. That is 100%. I had 3 whiteboards. I also created my own maps on whiteboards and sent them off to an artist to actually create the maps. And then all of my covers are done actually by an ex video game designer, does all my covers. And so all of my covers, except for the first cover, was done by the same artist. The first one was done by a man named Alejandro Colucci, and he did some of the Witcher books. So he actually did my first cover. But the covers are all of my covers are a scene from the book. So all of my covers are seen in the book. They're not just like representative of, they're all an aspect or a scene from the book, all of my covers.
Nice. I was just flipping back to look at the cover because I see it like it's like a couple and they're staring at a castle. And
Lex
is that a
Amara,
turning point? Is that a turning point in the story?
That's them discovering. That's them kind of discovering Grimhilt Keep, which is what that keep is in the picture. Really, this cover primarily was not just showing those 2 main characters who are with us throughout the majority, but it's the Twin Moons part, because that plays into the aesthetic throughout the series because of the red moons. A lot of the shades change when it comes to describing nighttime things when I'm describing the world. So I have to keep that in mind when I'm writing as to the red moons are actually going to be changing the coloring at night. So, yeah. So that's what I primarily look for. Yeah.
Sure. Can you do a quick plot summary of the first book so people can kind of see where we're going with all this?
Sure. It starts on Earth. The main characters are Lex Anders, Mara Thorne, and Jorn Callahan. Jorn Callahan is I would say he's not he's a major character, but I would say he's a sidekick per se. He's like the star, witty, funny sidekick to Lex Anders, who's him and Mara Thorne are the main characters. So it starts on Earth. It starts with them trying to find this mysterious box that they've been searching for. I tied some U.S. kind of intelligence into it, what's in the box. Specifically, Lex, Mara, and Jorn work for an organization called the Order of Thunder, and they basically search out old artifacts on Earth. So things from the past that they're trying to preserve. So they're basically trying to find this box, and it's tied to these different various people that are tied to terrorist financing and lots of weird stuff. So all that gets tied together where it kind of brings some of the modern takes into some weird events that happen. The first chapter will throw a monster in there right away. So you kind of see the paranormal kind of fantasy part right away. By chapter 8, you are off of Earth and you don't go back till book 10. So you are on Eldradune for the entire period. And from that moment on, Lex and Mara and Jorn are part of a story that intermingles with this new world. And it goes from kingdoms, to different races, to different economies, to different political machinations. We throw gods into it early on for the faithful, and then we throw more gods into it later on from books 6 through 10. And if you like time aspects, book 7 through 10 actually has an enemy that can control time. So if you're one of those people that like time things, 7 through 10. So and those and book 7 and 8 were released in December, and then 9 and 10 were released in spring of 27. So, but the first 6 are available right now, Amazon, Kindle, and then I have special edition books that are signed that I sell from my website.
I guess, where did your love for this genre come from?
Tolkien, Hardy Boys, Star Trek. So I grew up on Hardy Boys and Star Trek, the Next Generation novels. I must have been 7th, 8th grade when I started those. The first time I read The Hobbit was probably the 7th or 8th grade. Then I immediately went into The Lord of the Rings, and then read the appendices, and then got into Silmarillion. I really got into Tolkien pretty hard. History of Middle Earth. So I'm not a Tolkien expert. I don't want to say I am, but I know a lot about it, which is kind of how I am actually preparing my next real epic fantasy, which doesn't have Earth in it at all. I'm actually preparing another 10-book series on top of that. So that'll be interesting. So I have 4 series in the works right now. So I'll get to those if you ask me.
Goodness gracious. So creating a fantasy world was no problem for you because you grew up reading that already. What were your particular challenges when you're trying to construct a story like this?
So for me, I'm one of those kids who grew up with that imagination. So my parents didn't have a lot of money growing up. So toys might come during a holiday or when the grandparents came to visit, things like that. I grew up in an age, Russell probably understands this, but where TV had 3 knobs, and we couldn't afford cable. VCRs were a luxury back then. So it was one of those things where all you had was imagination and going out and playing baseball at the corner lot. That was it. And maybe playing in a creek if you got daring with your bike or something. But other than that, it was imagination. So I would take pieces of paper and I would draw. Now, I'm a terrible artist. I will never draw anything in my life that anyone will ever see. However, that's what kind of created that imagination. I started that even when I was 3, 4, 5 years old. And then I started reading those specific books. Hardy Boys start off. And then it just ran from there. And I've been reading ever since. Everything from Robert Jordan to every single Dragonlance novel to every single Star Wars EU novel, Thrawn trilogy. I mean, everything. So, yeah.
Let's see. I think Russell probably has a few questions. Maybe.
What's your writing day like, Aaron? When do you write? What's your writing week like?
So I give myself a goal when I write. When I get into writing, it is close all the doors, and just get to it. And I always before I start writing the actual manuscript itself, like the draft manuscript, I immediately go into each character, each location, each place, each god, every single thing, and I write a small short story. What does go into mean? I actually will write a short story, like a 3 or 4 page short story for each person, each place, each event, everything, their associations. So I have a full background of everything before I start writing the actual manuscript. So it's like my own kind of encyclopedia for my own knowledge. So it's fresh in my head. So when I start writing, I don't have to make up those things on the fly. Does that make sense? So it adds structure to my writing. But for a writing day, after I take care of the structural parts and I get to the manuscript, I will give myself a goal. Today, I'm going to write 1 full chapter and reread it and change it maybe 3 times. And that's how I do it usually. So one day will be 1 chapter. If it's a really good weekend and I get a lot of quiet to myself and I got a lot of coffee running through me, I might be able to get 2 or 3 chapters done. But I can probably knock out a book if I have complete size. Because again, my job is right now I have a forensic consulting company and I'm semi-retired. So I have a lot of extra writing time if I need it. So I can dedicate like 3 or 4 days just to writing. So that's helpful for me because I can just clear out 10 chapters literally in a week if I really wanted to. So it allows me to write a lot in volume, but then I have to take time off because it drains your brain a lot.
Sure.
So you have to like do something fun, get on that motorcycle, take the wife out for a hike. You have to do something to kind of drain your brain from, because if you just constantly write, you get burned out way too fast.
So tell me about your outlines. How do you outline before you write? How do you stay in the outline? How do you not stay within
the outline's in here.
You
So
don't write it? You don't put it on
No,
that
I don't.
whiteboard?
I actually have my board over here. So what I do is every time I write a chapter, I write a one line on a paper, little whiteboard. I forget what you call it, like an easel. So every book I have like chapter 1 that I write what that synopsis will be in one line for that. And so I have 50 something chapters per book of one liners. And then sometimes I might have to switch those around because maybe the order doesn't work right with the flow. So I have to swap those around. That's kind of helpful for me. But the outline, it's all in here. Right? When I'm writing, I don't structure the book. I just know where they're going, and I try to write and then change it for the flow if I have to later on.
So when I first saw your material from Amy, I saw that you made a suggestion about how you promoted your books. Answer that question that you suggested.
Well, I mean, I'm someone who I have not run ads for my books. I have not run. I think I started off with like trying Facebook ads for like 2 weeks, and it became almost more trouble than it was worth at that point. Because I was getting a lot of clicks, but there was no follow through. And I think Facebook is set up like that. I think a lot of the clicks are bots. That's just my personal opinion. I have no evidence of that, but I think a lot of those are bots. So it makes it look like it's got a lot of traction, but you might get 1 or 2 follow throughs on it. So I have not done any ads for it. So my play is I started a YouTube channel about a month ago, and right now I've got a whole 15 subscribers. It's hot right now. I'm telling you, it's hot. I am not promoting it. I'm not spending money advertising it. I'm doing a weekly release, and it's basically just how I started a fantasy series. These are kind of the steps that I took. Here's some advice. If you find a good editor, keep them, because I've gone through 3 editors. If you find a good cover artist, don't get rid of them, keep them, because you'll go through 3 or 4 cover artists to find the right one. You'll do this constantly over and over and over, because there's a lot of people that say they can do things, and then they basically false advertising what their actual ability is. So, and then if you're going through a company like Reedsy or something like that, now you're dealing with, well, it's not really a contract, it's an agreement. And if they don't finish the product, then we might get you your money back. We'll see if they provide. It becomes a kind of a nightmare on that. So if you find an artist, whether it's on Reedsy or if you find them, keep them. do not try anyone else. If you find a good one, keep them. That's my advice to everyone. My advertising is YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. If I can get a podcast, great. And then eventually when I release my first audiobook, which I have not done yet, I have my narrator. He's done 1 book. He's already started 2 and 3. Once I have to do that, then I'll actually do an ad push for the audiobook and stuff. And then I'll do another ad push in December when I release book 7.
That's great. I love that you're trying all these different aspects to just not one path, because like you said, when you find a path that works, then that might be the one. What was the biggest challenge for you releasing the 3 books at the same time?
I think the challenge was getting people to understand, again, like I explained, like these books are meant to be read together. And I think in the modern world, the younger audience, I'll say the younger audience, they don't like big exposition books anymore.
No, yeah.
I like big exposition.
Yeah.
Younger readers don't like that. And my wife doesn't either. And she reads a book a day. She's a big reader. She likes the characters. She doesn't care about the lore.
Yeah.
I like a little bit of both, but I like the exposition heavy on the world. So yes, so sometimes it's hard for people to read the first book. I can understand 100% how that could turn someone off because it's so exposition heavy, because it's meant to be read with 2 and 3 as well, right? So I can totally understand that. I don't fault people for like reading the first book and not moving on. Like the pass-through rate, I think on Amazon's like, I think it's like 60% from 1 to 2. And I understand why.
Yeah.
Because it is exposition heavy.
Well, but I mean, but it being an epic fantasy, when you have epic fantasy readers, they know that they're getting into a big book and like a big universe kind of thing. So like some of them that are dedicated to those, you know, you have like the smaller, like that are classified as epic fantasies, but they're really not. Because when you said that the first 3 books were meant to be one book and you were talking about how many pages, I was like, oh my gosh, this is actually like an epic fantasy. And then I was thinking in my head, I'm like, man, I wonder if you have a love-hate relationship with your editor like Russell has with his editors for his book.
Yeah, I know that they're wonderful, but I do hate them. All of them.
Yes, I agree with you. I mean, they definitely like to charge per word. I can attest to that.
Yeah.
But I will tell you though, this is, and I didn't model it after Tolkien at all, really. I didn't use the writing style as prose, nothing like that. But Lord of the Rings, those 3 books, Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, and Return of the King, those were supposed to be one book.
Mm-hmm.
And his publisher back then actually separated them out because they're like, we can't make a spine that thick.
Yeah.
So I guess I kind of took that approach, but very badly. And again, I think these days a lot of people are visual. So when they look at your cover, they see a man and a woman on there.
Yeah.
Now, lots of female readers, I believe, see that and they think it's a romantic fantasy because they see a male and a female on the cover.
True.
So I think a lot of people who read it, when they realize there is obviously some romance and stuff into that, but there's no sex scenes or like really, there's nothing like that. There's
it's not a romantasy. Yeah.
It's not specifically meant to be a romantasy. Yeah. There's no monsters falling in love with humans and really weird sex scenes. Nothing like that going on.
That's more Amy's type of book.
No, I'm not the monsters one. He's just making fun of my dark romance side. Whatever.
Well, I'm just saying there's some weird Amazon books that are top sellers. I'm just saying.
There
I won't even name them on your podcast because it's so weird. But yeah, so I think a lot of people think that. Now, if you actually look at my other covers, Mara Thorne is a very important character in this series. It's not, even though it says Lex Anders Saga at the top, it's not just all about him. She's actually throughout all 10 books and is a very important character. And so she's actually in cover 2 and 3. Lex isn't on the cover of 2 and 3.
Okay.
Cover 4, Lex gets back in there. And then cover 5's in the past. And I like that cover the best because it's the Stone Knights of Thomas. That's the 5th cover. And I like that cover. But yeah, so like I said, I think people see that, then they read it. Exposition heavy, not the romance I expected.
Yeah.
So I think when I advertise, I have to advertise more for the audience that appreciates a true epic fantasy.
Yeah.
And not a modern fantasy that twists into fantasy.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think for sure, because it's definitely, if they were meant to all be one book, it definitely is like an epic fantasy. But I'm curious because, I mean, I'm sitting here, I'm currently a lot in the fantasy world right now. For whatever reason, that's just currently where I'm at like today. But how did the idea for this 10-book series, right, and the fantasy aspect and everything kind of come about? Because I don't, if you talked about it, I missed it if you talked about it, but I just would like to know.
How I started, so Lex Anders I created from a game I played with some friends. So there's some old military friends that I stay in contact with. And sometimes we'll play little games over Zoom or something just to kind of stay connected. Now, I will admit that 90% of the time we're just BSing. We're not actually playing the game. It's just a way to connect. So we'll do that. But one of them, someone wanted to try was a role-playing game. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'll try that. They're like, well, you have to create your own character. I was like, okay. So I created Lex Anders and then I created a backstory for him. And that's how that character was born. So I actually created a backstory for his mother and him, and I wrote like a 40-page short story about his birth, basically. And that's kind of what started that. And I was like, okay, well, let's get this going. And by the way, I do have Easter eggs on the covers of the book. I explained this in an article I wrote. But if you see the book cover, it says a Lex Anders Saga at the top, not the Lex Anders Saga. So his actual first name is Alexander.
Oh, okay.
And I hid that in the Lex Anders Saga instead of Alex. So it's actually looks like Lex Anders Saga.
Yeah.
So I kind of hid that into this little Easter, but I have Easter eggs throughout my entire books. My mom is one of my beta testers, and she likes the exposition. So it's actually really good. My wife, she gets the characters.
Okay.
You know, hey, she needs to be meaner, or hey, he's being too much of a wuss. And then I get to my mom, and she gets into the lore aspects of it. So I kind of get both sides. Now it's all female perspectives, of course, but my family is not.
It doesn't
big
matter,
readers.
Aaron, because females are the readers. Women are readers, not men.
I agree. I agree. I agree with you. So my beta testers are perfect.
Yeah.
I think our generation, we like to read because we didn't have all this. We didn't have streaming service and stuff. So we like to read.
Yeah.
And the only way to get those sci-fi or fantasy hits were the books that were available on the bookshelves. But nowadays, I mean, you can either read Tolkien or you can watch a really crappy Amazon series. It's kind of up to you.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's true. But you do have a lot more readers nowadays because of the things that they've done. Like you have ebooks and audiobooks, which is just always going to be golden, right? But the paperback books are coming back around. They'd kind of fallen off in terms of people actually physically buying books. But now that you have the painted edges and the designs and everything, which like I will give it to romance authors, they started that whole thing.
Okay, Amy, ask
it.
him about his edges. When
do you
I
painted
saw this
edges?
reader, I was thinking
He's got painted edges.
These are big books. These are big books.
I do not have painted edges.
Oh, what do you have?
However, I do have. So I have the dust. So this is the special edition version.
Yeah, the dust jacket and stuff.
So when you take the dust jacket off, though.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It has a design that goes around.
Heck yeah. I love that. Yeah.
So, and then all of my books have some sort of laminate or some sort of foil on the backs and the fronts. These are the special edition. These are the special editions. So you could probably see it. So this is my favorite cover. This is the Stone Knights of Thomaset.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And what they did with this was it was the leather cover with foil.
Oh, it's a leather cover?
Because I didn't want to do a design on every single one.
Well, yeah, I mean that makes sense. They each have to be different in and of themselves. But see, that's what's brought the younger generation back to buying books because they do read them, but we do like our shelves to look pretty. So it's kind of like this whole thing, especially if, I mean, I don't know how versed you are in it, but there are romanticises that their painted edges of their books when all together have an image, like a cohesive image. So you like to put those on the shelf that have it. So like those kinds of things have brought back popularity amongst buying books, but audiobooks and ebooks are like still 100% just where everybody's at.
So you put the book backwards on the shelf, the spine against the wall. Interesting.
Yeah. So then you can see the whole like pretty cover. I'm telling you, we like a really pretty book cover and we like it on our shelf.
I know people who, the reason I did a dust cover specialist, not just did you get the signed, personally signed thing to you, but the dust covers, a lot of people that like the artwork from dust covers, they will actually take the dust covers off and have them put up in a frame.
Yeah.
Especially signed.
Yeah. So this is a similar thing. Except, I mean, so TikTok changed the game, and me and Russell get into this conversation all the time. We have a love-hate relationship with it, but it changed the game in terms of you have all of these book reviewers who are paid, so don't necessarily take their advice like with a grain of salt, pretty much. But they have their bookcases, and they'll have the painted edges or the limited editions facing out, and then they get the whole series, right? So then you can see the cohesive artwork that's on it. And so then it makes people, they're like, oh, well, I need that on my bookshelves. Then it makes people go out and buy it, and then they read it. So it's kind of like one feeds into the other, but it has done an uptick in terms of physical book sales. But yeah, actual like true fantasy authors, they will do that. Well, they display the book cover on a series that they like that's signed and those kinds of things. It's just it's different for each genre. Romance is like, I want the pretty scenery and like the swords or whatever. It's just a different kind of thing. But yeah, no, I mean, I never honestly put the two together that back then you had to read to kind of escape. And now we have all kinds of crap that we can watch, right? So I'm like, oh, this makes a lot more sense now. Like you connected the dots for me. So
and I'm one of those people also, when it comes to the cover art and things like that, what you're saying is so I know a lot of people, they don't want to spend the money because AI is so easy to use these days and things like that, right? There is AI uses for certain things.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people. I did 2 YouTube videos on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe when it comes to covers and stuff, and not even just for copyright purposes and stuff, but I like that there are people still out there drawing.
Yeah.
And I want that aspect continuing, because if artists can't make money drawing things, then they're going to stop drawing things. And then it's going to be harder to find a good cover artist. And then everything's going to be AI. And then in 10 years, everything's going to look the same.
Yeah.
And so for me, I actually like the art, and you get to give them free advertising inside the cover, which is what I love to do. So I have my map maker in there. Even though I've done the majority of my maps, I've actually had to change throughout because maybe a town name changed or something over time or something. Yeah. So I changed those myself. So I still give him the credit because he actually drew the actual physical. So,
yeah.
I like that. So I'm not against AI. I am against AI writing full books in 6 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am against that, and I'm against the people that are trying to saturate the market. I have all my books copyrighted with the U.S. government. Mm-hmm. I think that is the true test in the future, and how Amazon is going to have to list what is AI written and what's human derived.
Yep.
Because the Copyright Office actually scans for AI.
Yep. It'll be interesting to see where it goes, but it is currently flooding the market in a negative way. So it's a crazy kind of, I'm not even going to say chaotic waters. It is wavy waters at the moment. I'm wavy. They haven't gotten that big yet currently. But I know Russell's giving me the stink eye because I'm coming up on my time, Aaron, and he tends to give me, no, you're fine. He gives me dirty looks. So I'm going to do. It has
nothing to do with you, Aaron.
Yeah, it's totally me. Like I am his favorite to pick on. But I'm going to do last round of questions before we let Aaron go. So Russell, Valerie, who wants to go first?
I'll go.
Go ahead, Russell.
What festivals are you going to in the fall and winter? Book festivals are you going to promote your book? I want to hear that.
I am currently not scheduled to go to any. The reason why
I'm shocked.
My wife is currently going through some treatment.
Okay, that's an answer. That's
so for the next 2 months, we'll be doing that treatment, and then. But until and after that, maybe we'll get involved. But I honestly, I'm the person who just wants to write the books. I don't know how to market things. I don't know how to go to festivals and meet people. I don't know how to advertise things. I'm not very good at that. So that's where I'm lacking. You need to go to
Comic-Cons. That's where you're going to find your fantasy and epic fantasy is at Comic-Cons. Small,
if I wanted to pay $30,000 for a booth.
Oh, no. You can do small ones and it's like $150. So you'll make your money back. There's small ones in every city or surrounding city. And that's where I would go. Now they are not going to be like Dallas Fan Expo bringing in freaking Lord of the Rings. It's not going to be like that, but it will bring in crowds and it will bring in your readership because he's going to love it.
Actually, they're like in the set. That's the wonderful thing about Georgia, Tennessee, the Carolinas. That is a beautiful thing. There is something like one of those small Comic-Cons, not that far from you, every weekend, all fall and winter. It's awesome. That's one of the best things about being in Georgia, I thought.
Yeah,
they start in. I'm gonna figure that out.
Yeah, they start in March and they generally end around September. But they're small, big, all kinds. But I would definitely look into those because that's just where your target is. That's where I send all my fantasy authors is to a Comic-Con. So it is their people for sure. Valerie?
I was just going to say, can you just repeat when the rest of your books are coming out? Because I think you said December, September, just so people will be on the lookout.
So the first audiobook will actually be released the end of this month, the first audiobook. Good. And yes, I'm a little behind on audiobooks. Finding a narrator that you want is as difficult as finding a good editor.
Yes.
And then the books 7 and 8 will be released in December of 26. Mm-hmm. And then the last 2 books of the series, 9 and 10, will be released in the early spring of 27.
Ooh, so there's just like right around the corner. I like it.
It is. And again, my other series I'm working on right now is I have another 10 book true epic fantasy with no Earth.
Wow.
I have a horror book about ready to go.
Oh.
I have a sci-fi series. I already wrote the first book. That's being edited right now. And that's supposed to be a 3-book series. And then I'm actually going to start doing crime, true crime, with actually more of a forensic and more of an investigative accuracy spin, as opposed to what I like to call the NCIS of what everybody thinks crime novels and crime stories really are. So
yeah, you are a busy writer and you're in multi genres, which I think is fascinating. And I think it's amazing that you're going to write 10 book series epic fantasy novels. Kudos to you, because I find those to be difficult to write. Usually I get one epic fantasy novel a year or every 2 years. So kudos to you for being that.
I said it'd be done next year.
No, I know, but I'm just saying for being that disciplined to do it. You know, it's I feel like it's definitely a labor of love. But Aaron, I want to thank you for taking time out of your day and your writing schedule to come and talk and hang out with us. Let us dive and pick your brain about your epic fantasy. Hear what all you have coming up, and we would all love to have you come back and talk about the rest, especially your true crime ones. I feel like that's a me and Valerie thing for sure. But everybody listening, we hope that you guys have a fantastic Monday, a great rest of your week, and until next Monday, bye for now, everybody.